Oh, hi, Sarah.
Hey,
Hi.
there's a weird frozen picture of me on here. How do I get
How,
that off? Oh man.
how are you doing, Sarah?
I'm good. I can't see you.
Oh, okay.
Is there a way to get this picture of me off here? Do you see that big frozen one of me?
I don't. Actually, I see you. You're like moving, like you're normal.
Okay. There's a really weird frozen one on mine and it looks really
Oh,
goofy.
oh, really? Oh, I don't see that. I
Okay.
see you actually talking, and then you don't see me, huh?
No, I don't.
That's interesting. I see me. Um, oh, just the perils of technology. Oh my God.
I know.
It's like
Oh well.
we can't escape it though, you know? Anyway. So I apologize for all the inconvenience. And
Oh, that's okay. It's not your fault.
you know, it's funny too. One of the workshops I have is on 99 free homeschooling tips, free resources, 99 of them. And one of the top five I wrote is Gmail because if you get a Gmail account, you have access to all these free like spreadsheets, basically like an Excel or a Microsoft Word, but all in Google. Um, it's called Google Docs. And then you also have free online storage. I mean, they make it so you have to, you know, or like right now, even though it's technically I'm working with another company called Webinar Jam, they
Yeah.
work with Google. And so they require that if we want to be able to talk back and forth, you have to have a Gmail account. It's just, you know, so it's like free, but not really, because I think in the background they're accessing all our information.
I know. It's
Scary.
weird.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, Tell me how long have you been homeschooling now, Sarah?
And now you see my messy guitar. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I've just been homeschooling since, well, completely homeschooling since December,
Okay.
um, like after Christmas. I was doing the 2 day a week private school, and we did some work at home, but they gave me a schedule. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And is the 2-day private school, is that working out?
No, we moved from Missouri. It was nice, but we don't have that here in Texas.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So,
So you're not using any options other than strictly having them home.
correct, right now. Yeah.
Okay. So, how's that been so far? And I know you had the move and you have a lot of, you know, that huge transition. And again, I hope you really extend yourself grace. Um, but how has that been so far? Just
Um, It's been a little crazy. I'm just using the curriculum that we had with the private school.
okay.
I I don't have the schedule to work off of that they used to give us, so we're just kind of winging it, like do a couple pages here in this book and a chapter here, and um, I kind of use that schedule, relied on that pretty heavily. So, but I'm excited about the conference, hoping to get some
Yeah.
guidance from that. So,
Good. Yeah,
yeah.
there's a lot. It'll be overwhelming. So again, if you girls could, you know, just highlight, like I really highly recommend you highlight the ones that you want. And then, you know, you might have to, because you'll highlight quite a few, and then, you know, you got to go through it again and say, okay, realistically, this is all I'll have time for. But kind of go in there with a strategy in mind. I know I didn't the first time, and I think I wasted a lot of good time. So it's just overwhelming.
Yeah,
But it's good stuff. I mean, you're going to learn a lot,
that's good.
yeah, and
That's good.
fast.
I need to learn a lot.
Yeah, so just have your notebook and be ready to write because there's a lot.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and I was looking at that. They're excellent speakers, so you can't go wrong in any of the sessions. So yeah,
Hey, Marissa.
uh-huh.
Is it okay if I were to turn the camera off so I can get my notebook? Because I just have a tablet. I can't use my computer.
Oh,
So
sure.
if I
Yeah,
can turn this off, I can lay it down and then take notes while we're talking. Is that okay?
absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
Does that work? Can you
Yes.
see me anymore?
Yes. I think it actually works better when we're not showing our faces, actually. Someone
Yeah.
told me that. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Got my pin.
Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and go into our schedule. So I'm going to screen share with you.
Okay.
And that way, okay. And just let me know if you see it, Sarah.
Okay, I see a screen within a screen within a screen.
Okay. But you haven't seen the, let's see. Do you
Yep,
see?
I see the
Oh,
schedule now.
perfect.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go through this. How's Daniel and his school? How's he coming along?
Well, he hasn't started his school yet, because I was gonna send the children to my mom's house for a week, so that I could be free to go to the conference.
Okay.
And the school said to not start him then because they didn't want him missing so many days. To
Okay.
keep him until after that.
Okay. Sure. Um, I think I sent you that email of Leslie Stevens, who is the expert in special needs there in Dallas, in the state
Uh-huh.
of Texas, actually. But if you ever have any questions, I highly recommend you reach out to her. What's really neat is that she can even lead you to, if it boils down to this, if you want to ever take Daniel home, but she can even help you with curriculum choices, specifically designed for his special needs. And
Okay.
so I thought that was kind of cool. Like, wow,
Yeah.
they know all the special needs of all these kids, and they can kind of design curriculum or recommend curriculum.
Yeah.
Um,
That's something to look forward to in the future. I know
yes,
right now I just want to kind of get my feet wet with the girls,
sure,
because I have actually tried to homeschool him before and it was just very frustrating. Of course, I was doing it on my own and it was a
right.
few years ago, but yeah, that's something that I would look into if
Later
I
on,
just, yeah, I needed to do that.
absolutely. Um, and then Chloe and Lily. So far so good.
Yeah, Lily's actually been sick and throwing up the last couple of days, and which is why my kids are still here. They were supposed to be gone,
Oh,
at my mom's house, but they're here because she's been sick. So,
okay.
but as far as the homeschool, I think it's going okay.
It's
You know,
Exactly. Well, you just started, and again, that move is major. So, if you got one thing done from your to-do, you're good.
yeah,
Especially when they're sick. Oh my gosh, that just pretty much,
yeah,
yeah, that's very difficult, and that's why my heart goes out to Melanie. When she has her slower days and lack of energy days. Wow, you
yeah,
know, oh my gosh, yeah, that's amazing. So I always just tell her, just be easy on yourself.
yeah,
I start out, Sarah, is just, time with you and the Lord, because we all know, my gosh, if we don't start our day with Him,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, um, we just have to start our day with Him, even if it's just a few minutes where we can just sit and just say, okay, Lord, I need you, help me. And then, and you have to go. And sometimes it is that short. Um,
right,
but just to really just hand it over to Him, because ultimately He's going to teach our children what they need. Ultimately, He's the best parent of all. He cares about them more than we ever can, even though it feels like no one could love our kids more than us. But and so it's just that reminder that He has everything under control, that we're simply just going to do our best. That's it.
yeah,
Yeah, so and if you can do that when the kids are still asleep, that always helps. I just found that there's just a little bit less distraction. Um, so it's kind of sacrificial, but
sweet, yeah. The
yeah,
first part of your day, is that what you mean?
yes,
Yeah,
yes, just wow, if you could just really make that. a routine, like right when you put your feet on the ground, just
Yeah.
Jesus, I need you, because it's truly homeschooling is just going to be so much more peaceful when we've
You
relinquished.
need to do that, and it's always something that I've wanted to do, and I say I'm going to do that, but I end up getting on a Facebook or getting caught up in something, and so you're right. I need to make that a priority and
Yeah,
get back to that.
it is. It just works out, and you know those days when you do have time with him. It's just so you can't even describe it, but it just it works for the better. Then the next thing is, I wrote it down is routine and habit, and that's waking up. How do they wake up right now, Sarah? Are they grumpy? Are they pretty good about waking up and getting ready?
They like to be up for a little bit before they get ready. Right now, they like to stay in their PJs, and um, Chloe wakes up a little better than Lily. Lily she likes to be up for a while before she even starts speaking. Like she just wakes
Right.
up with crazy hair. She's one that likes to stay up late. If she could, she would stay up late and get up late.
Okay.
Um, but she I mean, once she does wake up, she does fine. It just takes her longer,
Sure.
and yeah,
Okay.
Chloe's more perky.
Okay. Good. Good. And then Daniel, of course, he has to be up to.
Yes, and he's the easiest one to get to bed and to wake up. He's very easy to do what he's supposed to in that area.
Okay. And I did not add him here because I thought that he was going to school.
Right.
So just as in fact, there's a part in here, I believe, where we say, "Oh, drive Daniel to school." So,
Oh yeah.
but I will, yeah, and I'll tell you, just kind of the reasoning behind it all. When you guys have appointments, are the kids okay as far as do they get up and when you have to get up early and?
Um. Yeah, they do. If we have an appointment, like we had a doctor's appointment for Daniel the other day, and
Mhm.
so we all got up and got dressed and we got there on time. So yeah, if they have to get up extra early, they will.
Will. Good.
Yeah.
Good. And it seems little, waking up, but this area it makes all the difference because it kind of is kind of the temperature of how we start our day. And so it sounds like you guys are okay in terms of, having the right attitude when we get up and but especially when we have, you're on a time crunch, like if you're trying to get Daniel to school. So the point of this is that this routine and habit of waking up at a certain time, that's something that maybe you should keep an eye out on, especially if you're starting to see that it's not becoming or it's just too rough in the mornings. It's amazing how that, again, it dictates kind of the mood of the rest of the day. So just keep that in mind. And then if they don't wake up and you're asking them to, that's kind of an issue of character. And I would just keep an eye out on that too. They need to obey when if you say, it's time to get up. I always tell my kids when they, and that's fine that they stay in their pajamas. We always did. The thing is that I think I remember the later years too. You just want them to establish a routine of being up early and whatever time that is, but not to be lazy. So
Right.
again, a good habit. And so just watch that as they wake up and because establishing them now makes it just the job so much easier as they get older.
Okay.
Sarah, how about the morning greeting? Like, do they, back to that? That's why I asked the question of the grumpiness, and but you seem to be okay with. I mean, they have a right attitude when they wake up in the morning.
Yeah, they all do. Like I said, Lily is just very quiet. She's not grumpy. She's just like sometimes whisper voice. I don't know. It just takes her a little bit to rev up her engine. Just not much of a morning lover, if that makes sense. But she's
Uh,
not defiant or,
Good.
cranky.
Right.
She's quiet.
And what might happen here is, just morning greeting. I always, even if they're grumpy, I always say, hey, good morning, good morning, Lily, good morning, Chloe, and it's
Yeah,
just amazing how, again, you're teaching them how to give a morning greeting,
right.
also setting the mood, just setting the mood. So even if I'm in a bad mood, I'll always greet. It's just a good habit, you wake up in the
Okay.
morning and so like my son goes to community college, so right in the morning, and I hardly see him, and sometimes that's all we say in the morning is, hey, hey, have a good day at school. But just that little bit of that morning greeting establishes a routine that you eventually just want to keep.
Yeah.
So and it teaches
With
them how to give a
uh,
greeting. Mhm.
him going off to community college in the morning, is it almost like sending him to school, or is it different? Like, I don't know. I've been thinking about that. I think that's neat that he's so young and he's going. And I'm not trying to get off subject. I was just
Sure.
wondering, since you brought that up, is it feel like you're sending him off to school then? Kind
Yeah.
of.
Yes, I feel like I'm a retired homeschool mom.
Okay.
Feel like I'm
Yeah.
more of a, what I am now is I'm of an advisor. And I'm an advisor or counselor. It's
Okay.
become my role, not even a tutor because he's pretty
Yeah.
much on his own. Um, so I'm always, and a reminder, so I advise him, hey, what you've got going. And I still watch, like I know where his deadlines are for certain things.
Okay.
Say, hey, did you get geometry done? I know that lesson 4 is done, that, or is due this week. And so I thought
Right.
I'd come in and remind him. And with teens, you'll get to this, Sarah, it's a very, you're doing a little bit of a dance. You can't be as abrupt as you were before. It just doesn't work. Um,
Right.
yeah, they just, the hormones. And so there's more of a dance. In other words, I really have to approach it more as not as a dictator, but as a, hey, just wanted to remind you, it's
Yeah.
amazing how much of they're more willing to respond to you if you approach it from just the side versus directly, like you could when they're still young, you know. Um,
Yeah.
but so yeah, he pretty much goes to school. He drives and goes there, and he actually has a lot of homeschoolers in his class. Um,
Oh,
yeah, and it's funny. Yeah, he's like, oh, I remember him from back in 4th grade, and so I think a lot of homeschoolers do early college. I would think it's a no-brainer, mainly because a lot of homeschoolers are mature. And they can, they're kind of above average
right.
for the most part, so they're actually great candidates for early college. And I don't know. I think in Fort Worth or in your area, it's probably the same way. There's community colleges that are much more homeschool friendly, if you want to call it that. Um, you know so choose wisely which community. There's some rougher community colleges, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's what I would be
Yeah,
nervous. I just want to make, yeah.
yeah,
Okay. I might have to, when it comes to that time, which is years away, I might
right.
have to check back with you.
Yeah, no, definitely, but gosh, it probably is going to change drastically by the time your kids are.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows. And then we go into the morning greeting, and again, it's just showing the right attitude, and then you're also teaching how to give a greeting, and then you're also the temperature gauge. By you giving that greeting, it's just going to make a difference, how the rest of the day will play out as well. And then right away, just give some instructions. And if Lily takes a little while, then you don't want to be too strong on her, but you might want to just gently say, hey, Lily, we gotta. We got to be ready for Daniel to get him off to school. So 5 minutes. Can you brush your teeth and comb your hair, and I'll meet. I'll have breakfast ready for you, or whatever. Like you might want to. For her, it might be a little bit more of a reminder,
Okay.
to keep moving, right? And so certainly okay, and just make sure that she does obey. It's part
Right.
of that whole training of obedience. Um, and then again, establishing routine and habit that they wake up, they brush their teeth, they comb their hair, and then they meet you downstairs for breakfast, or however you want to give that instruction.
Okay.
During this time too, this might be a good time to monitor them. Like if you're noticing, like if your kids come down and you're like, oh my gosh, your hair looks horrible, you're
Yeah.
noticing you didn't comb. Yeah, monitor and just, say, hey, good job, Lily, that I noticed you combed your hair. You missed your back though. So maybe when you brush your hair, just remember one stroke here, and then don't forget the back.
Right.
You might want to do so. Just monitor, and even like when they brush their teeth, are they brushing for 10 seconds or a minute or? But those are the times. I guess I bring that up because Sarah, these are the times where you monitor. And you want to make sure that these life skills are being done properly, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So then you don't, later on, when they get a little bit older, they haven't established a bad habit. But,
Right.
and so this is a great age to just monitor that. Yeah. And then eventually you'll be surprised when they get older, it'll just be old hat. And then they'll learn to do it also properly because you instructed them at an early age, early on. And believe me, this will be a lot easier when they grow up. If you can work on it now, um, yeah, a lot
Right.
easier. Okay. So all this is really, as small as it might be, this might be a matter of 5 minutes each. But Sarah, wow, this is life skills we're teaching here. These are all life skills. This is all part of schooling. This all counts.
Yeah.
It all counts. Yes. In fact, much more so than academics, I think. And see, we get to academics, but later on. And so we've got a lot of life skills that we could be teaching here. And to help make our job easier as parents, too, in the long run. Then the next thing is, and just always encourage them, especially if they do what you say, Sarah, just, good job, Lily, good job, Chloe. Yeah, always encourage them. Next thing on breakfast, and this is a way for you to also get help, and then it teaches them so that you're not always making breakfast too, and then you can make it kind of a fun thing, an activity, and that's how you kind of have to make it rather than here, help me make breakfast.
Right.
Maybe there's a time once a month where they choose a recipe, Chloe and Lily, between the two of them, and they make breakfast. And then in that, see, they're learning how to research, trying to find a recipe. They're learning math and science because as they're measuring and as they're scooping things up, and maybe you can start teaching them about labels on a box. How many is 16 ounces? What is equivalent to a pound? I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in there. You can look at the ingredient labels on their cereals, how much sugar.
Right.
What is a gram? What does that mean when they say 8 grams of sugar? I mean, so there could be a lot of teaching just as you're making breakfast. So you're making it fun, but then you're also getting some schoolwork in.
Right.
Yeah. Help them prepare it. Help them set the table. Maybe you have Lily in charge of the drinks and Chloe in charge of something else. Make sure that, and I don't know where Daniel would fit in all this. Certainly add him in there. He's probably
Right.
getting ready as well. So teaching is already happening. It's just happening from the minute they get up. That
Okay.
your education has started. Yeah, it's not when they open the book. It's from the minute they wake up.
Okay.
And the instructions that go with it. You're creating habits and routines and attitudes. So excellent. Then we go into when you're eating. Okay, so you're out at the table, and I highly recommend this if you can. I know there's days when I know we don't even get breakfast in, and much less, time to sit and chat. But I'll always try to make it a point, even in the car, if you don't have time at the table. But just this is a great time to be asking them questions, lots of questions. Whether it's about a book that they read, whether it's about just, hey, what do you guys want to do this week? Hey, Ringling Brothers is in town. Is that something that would, be interesting to you? Or do you want to study about circuses and how they, the history of circuses? I mean, this is a time where you can actually come up with some great lesson plans when you're asking questions based on their answers, and just really listen to them. If they get all jump up and down about, oh no, mom, can we do this? Or, then you think, okay, how can I make that a subject this week?
Okay.
Yeah. Can you give me an example of maybe what some of your kids might respond?
Um, well, the little Lily, the youngest one, she's really into like rainforests and jungles, and she talks about snow leopards all the time. And there's a place called the Rainforest Cafe that someone told us about, so we brought that up, and she really, really wants to go there. Like, I don't know, I've never been there, but I mean, they're into like animal stuff. Um, and Chloe, is this what you're asking? Is that what you mean?
Yes. Yes, it is.
And um, Chloe is, she also likes those kinds of things, but I mean, she gets excited about, well, probably just a lot of different things. I mean, she's more open to any kind of she's excited about sewing. She's going to be taking a sewing class in a co-op.
Oh, great.
Excited about that.
Yes. That's awesome. Are you going to be including Lily in that?
She's not going to be in a sewing class, but she's in some other classes in the co-op.
That co-op is valuable. Great. That is great. And that is a life skill. Nobody knows how to sew anymore. My gosh.
Yeah.
Yes, I had my daughter in sewing, and this is a great age for Chloe because she's still, for the most part, will say yes. She'll try it because, again, as they get older, you'll get a lot more no's. But a great life skill. Excellent. I just asked if Lily was, because it maybe eventually it's just one of those, lost arts, Anyway, and,
Yeah.
and when they're sitting there sewing, and maybe I know you can actually advance, like they could do one of those the rug kits where it's like a needle, not really a needle, but they can build upon that sewing.
Right.
Maybe they want to do embroidery or, or weaving. So it might turn into something else. And that's why I think, presenting your kids opportunities allows them to be able to discover what their true passion is, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Sometimes I feel guilty about that, which is weird. Like as far as having her in so many different things, like she doesn't have one thing yet that
mhm.
she's good at. Like I didn't get her in tennis or gymnastics or something. That she could just be amazing at. But we've been in a little bit of everything, just a
Yeah.
little, and we just haven't found the thing yet that she um, wants to stick with. I don't know.
Yeah, and Sarah, it sounds like that might be it. Maybe it's just she hasn't found it yet, and so
Yeah.
it's not that you haven't presented her options, but or opportunities, but she just hasn't found that one thing. Oh, just keep at it, and
Yeah.
she will know. She'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, she will tell you, and she may tell you kind of. Not directly. It's just simply she keeps asking you if she could do that one thing over and over and over again. And then you'll
Right.
know, oh, okay, she really likes this, And then you might want to, you know, pose that to her like, boy, sewing is really your thing, it sounds like. Well, what is it that you like about it? Or, you know, so no, this is an exciting time because they're kind of on an adventure trying to
Yeah.
figure that out. Yeah. So good, good. Then And then also, well, I'll get to that, I guess, in a second when. Um, how are there, and they're, as far as the socialization with the co-ops, you think they're getting that, especially Chloe and Lily?
Well, because we're new to the area, we kind of started out. We just left all of our friends and family. We've been in Missouri our whole life,
Oh,
so I've been taking them to, well, church meetings, and then we haven't started that co-op I was telling you about. That doesn't start until the 1st of March.
okay.
So we've been in like a Wednesday morning one. They have kids of all ages. I guess I guess all that to say, I think for how long we've been here, they're doing okay as far as relationships.
Good, good. That's, and I just asked that because I know moving to a new place,
Yeah,
they get a little lonely and but it sounds like, yeah, you do have that support. And it's just a matter of making it a habit, but at least you've already plugged in. And so that's good that they
yeah,
know those kids, that your kids can feel that. Um, and it'll just take time, to find those relationships with anything with
yeah.
anything. So good. Um, then there's this part, oh, the prayer before the meal, just again, something that we need to really incorporate. And it just really reminds all of us actually that, where does this all come from?
Yeah.
It comes from Him. And then have them pray is what I would suggest. Sarah, ask any volunteers, and let them pray. And then you might want to pray at the very end just so that they can hear your heart as well. Or you could just simply leave it to them. You know, um, Sometimes it's good when they're young that they hear you so they can you kind of modeling what prayer looks like or sounds like.
Right.
So, but yeah, definitely incorporate. So again, all this is just all part of education. And then here, when we drive Daniel to school, um, I was just thinking, Daniel is probably hurried and, and everybody trying to get everybody in. And am I assuming right? But does everybody go in and drive with Daniel, or do you leave the girls? Um,
In the past, I have left because the school is just almost walking distance.
oh,
This
okay,
isn't this school. This school is also walking distance, but the one before, because they went to a different school than him. So on the days that they were home, I would leave Chloe home to watch Lily so that I could just take Daniel
exactly.
myself.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. She's more than capable. And, maybe during this time, since they know that Daniel's going to be pretty much leaving them and that he's not part of um, the rest of the day, is maybe you make it a point to really have them kind of help Daniel as he gets ready. And maybe just say, hey, Chloe and Lily, from now on, I want you to just ask Daniel, hey, Daniel, do you need any help? And just to make him feel like, or we can't wait to have you come home, or just
Right.
because he is going to be apart from them. And then it doesn't make Daniel feel like, hey, they get to stay home and they're together. Or you don't know what he's thinking,
Well,
but
Daniel is very much excited to go to school. Like he's not, if it was his choice, he would be in school all the time. He loves it. So I don't think he's sad, like, oh, they get to stay home. I think he's like, see ya. I don't want to be like he's super social. Also, when he goes to school, he acts up a little. He tends to manipulate teachers a little, which is one of the reasons I've homeschooled him because he just does better behavior wise at home with me.
right.
He likes to be like when he gets to school, like kind of, oh, I'm so cute, I'm so silly, I'm so charming, I don't have to obey. I'm going to lay down during this art class because I'm going to act like a silly little, you know what I mean? Like if
Right.
it's hard to explain, but he really kind of looks forward to that, and he looks forward to not having, mom and dad are going to make him tote the line, but when he gets to school, he can. So I know that sounds kind of weird, but he also is super social.
Uh,
Anyway, I think he's not hurt about going to school or kind of like, oh, he's like, later, guys. So,
oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's good.
yeah,
Actually, that's why I was thinking, oh, maybe if he did feel separated, this would be. But in that case, yeah, scratch that. He's ready to go. Um,
yeah.
That's cool actually. And you know, he's probably one of those. Sounds like he loves the audience. You
He
know, like,
does. If he thrives on having attention and audience, he wants people. Yes, that's very much Daniel.
yeah, exactly. You know, he's going to be a leader, but in a different way.
I think so. I mean, he's got so much charisma. It's got to be used for something because people are just drawn to him, and I know God's going to use it for something.
Exactly. That is awesome, actually.
Yeah.
You know what I would do is I don't know if they, I think they still do it. You know, if there's ever elections, like
Uh,
president, vice president, you know, during elementary school, I know they do at the older. I would, yeah, maybe even ask Daniel, hey, is that something you'd ever want to do? Is run for office?
yeah,
And, you know, he
maybe
would.
so.
Yeah, you know what that would show. First of all, I think it would really use his giftings as a leader, and like you said, is if he's charismatic and he has charisma, and but also teaches him so much if he was running. Oh my gosh, how to prepare a speech, how to talk in front of people, how to present yourself, how to ask for a vote. You know, I mean, wow, that could be a just powerful,
Yeah.
especially at a young age. So anyway, that's just an idea that kind of popped up. I'm not sure if, when elections are, but we put that in as or suggest is that something he would do, and I think
Yeah.
it's a great teaching opportunity. Those we learn a lot. Okay, so then. As far as no, I know you're using your Christian school curriculum. What type of is that, Sarah? Do you know the name?
For math, Chloe has a Becca. And for Lily, I just moved her to a different workbook. She also had a Becca first grade, and
Uh,
it was really boring to her. Like she's very smart, and sometimes socially it takes her a while to warm up. Sometimes, but
right.
so I moved her to a second grade workbook that I don't even know. I just found it with some stuff that I had,
Sure.
and so she's been doing that one. She doesn't like workbooks. She would like to sit and Google and research
Oh,
creatures and seashells. Like her room, she has charts of seashells with their names, and then she has like hundreds of seashells, and she likes to. I think she's into science and animals, and
yeah.
just lay in bed and read a book about rocks. But as far as math workbooks, she doesn't enjoy that. And it can take her. She takes a lot of prompting. Um,
Right.
she knows the answers and she could do it like that, but she'll start doodling or daydreaming or so
Right.
I don't know what I'm going to do with her for math because it's like
Right. You, have you? I think I might have mentioned this. Khan Academy, KHAN. Um,
right.
it's a very visual program. In fact, it's pretty much all visual. And I'm just wondering if that would grab her attention better. You
I
know,
might look into that definitely.
yeah, because there's a lot of,
Yeah.
um, there's a lot of um, options like, math. I mean, we typically, yes, there is a workbook, but then Khan Academy does a really fantastic job of um, visually teaching. And they're huge. They're just, yeah, no, they're notoriously well known and well loved. And it's all free. That's the amazing part.
Really?
So yeah, it's all free. Oh gosh, I want to say they have like over 40 million users. I mean, it's just phenomenal. They're worldwide and like how many different languages. I mean, yeah, it's an amazing story. So look them up, Khan Academy. It's free. And
Okay.
just again, name and email is what they request. But check that out with her. And then it's according to grade level. And they do everything from math, science, art, history.
Oh,
So it's very cool, yeah, and they just keep getting bigger and bigger. But I would sit with her and see if she, just maybe for a few minutes and see if she enjoys it. And
okay.
and if she does, I'm going to say that probably supplement your math with an online course, maybe. You know,
Okay.
so that it's not so dry for her. Yeah.
Okay.
So she might be kind of a visual learner, it sounds like.
I think so.
Yeah. Um, there's the auditory, and then there's the kinesthetics, which is, they're kinesthetics tend to be a little fidgety. Is she fidgety or not necessarily?
Um, she's I don't know how to explain her. I don't guess she's fidgety. She like if she's supposed to, for example, like draw five ladybugs to answer this math problem or something, like her ladybugs, she'll have to make them into such detail, and she'll get frustrated if they don't look just right, and
Hmm.
that she'll focus. It's like, Lily, just draw red circles and move on to the next problem. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to explain it, but she's an interesting kid. And they all are, but like as far as her, I don't know. Like my firstborn, she's just so different, She'll get in there and get it done, and it's
Right.
just different. They're just very different. So
Exactly. And so Lily sounds like she's detail oriented.
yes, probably so.
Yeah. She's very much into details. And people who are detail oriented need more time. Because if they're rushed, you know, um, they go a little spastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just know that, like when you are teaching her, and
Okay.
so maybe not look at her slowness as a weakness, but
Yeah.
look at it more as a strength because she is so detail oriented. She doesn't want to get it wrong. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's actually a gift. Um, now is she the one that likes the seashells?
Yes. She's into
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
It'd be interesting if she gets into the sciences, because the sciences are very detail oriented, and think of engineers or,
A
uh,
science curriculum that would be for like first or second grade, something that she might. Because she's
hmm,
carrying animal books around, and even books about rocks and
yeah.
stuff like that. What do you suggest?
I suggest that take her to a trip to the library, her and Chloe.
Uh-huh.
I would guide her and say, find out from the librarian. Where are all your books on seashells or anything dealing with the ocean, and then I would walk Lily over there and say, hey, Lily, okay, I'm going to let you sit here and just look through these books, and you need to pick out 5 books, and then mommy's going to be over here, and so when you're ready, just bring me 5 books, so bring her to that section and do the same with Chloe. And I don't know what she likes, if she likes mystery or
She is a reader. She loves to read fiction, and she'll read for what you don't even have to tell her to read. She loves to read,
oh,
so
awesome. What does she like to read?
um she has I'm trying to think her favorite ones right now. She has a little bookshelf in her room with all kinds of books. I just try to make sure that they're nothing weird. Nothing.
Right.
I'm
But
gonna go look.
yeah,
She has like little House on the Prairie, and
oh yeah. Nancy Drew, kind or not, maybe.
she doesn't have Nancy Drew. She
Okay.
has some. We just went to Mardell, and she bought like Clicks, Hicks and Ugly Sticks, Confessions of April Grace. I don't know, just little Christian books from Mardell, little
Mm,
um I guess chapter books, but they're pretty good size.
yeah. You know what I'd start her writing. Have a notebook where she can maybe write her own book or
Okay.
just write something like journaling. I'm going to say that she's going to be a really good writer, and that if she likes to read as much as she says, yeah, that would be a great way for her to be able to just express herself after reading all those books. I'm sure she's just filled with characters and plots, and so she can put that on paper. Oh, I think that would be awesome.
And she
So,
does keep a journal, but she asks that we don't read it. So I don't know what it says.
okay,
But I've
perfect.
honored her as far as not reading it. But
Yeah,
she does journal. to go to her room and do stuff.
Excellent. Let her keep at it. Absolutely. And that'll be a prized possession when she grows
Yeah.
up. But yeah, oh good. Good that she is into journaling. See, I usually voracious readers are also
Uh-huh.
great writers. So give her that opportunity to write and write whatever she wants. Like maybe she can start a fiction book of her own. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
That would be a great long-term project, Sarah, where you help her with knowing what characters mean, the main character, a plot, an ending, a body. Just maybe you could Google how to teach children to write a novel. Um, and there's some just basics that you can teach her. And they'll, I mean, if you Google it, it'll just tell you exactly what it is, and you just have to repeat it verbatim, to her. So it'll sound like you know what you're talking about. But yeah, and that would be a great long-term project. We'll see if she'd be open to that. Like
Okay.
that would be, and then maybe she can even up in a notch and say, hey, would you ever want to film it, make a video out of it? I mean, that's another option.
Oh, that's a good idea. That would be fun for her.
Yeah. And maybe that's something Lily and Chloe can do together. Maybe that's a long-term project that they can do together.
Huh.
Um, Yeah, and well, you know what I love about long-term projects, Sarah, is that you don't necessarily have to be there. It could be one of those fill in the gaps because I got to go pay the bills. I mean, you know how sometimes you just need that block of time, and that could be that time when you say, "Okay, girls, let's work on that project today. You guys come up, keep talking about your plot, or and then let them alone and let them independently work on it while you go do your thing."
Yeah.
So that might be, um, in fact, that's what I have here is teaching unit study, incorporating math, reading, science, history. That might be that long-term project that we talked about. You could probably do a unit study on that. I would think maybe Lily might have a fun unit study on just ocean animals or something, where she could do some notebooking. Have you ever heard of like the laptop notebooking?
No.
Okay, and it's all it is basically a notebook where she writes everything that she learns about, and so that's generally what it is. And then they get really fancy with how it looks and all that, but that
You
might be.
know, she kind of does that on her own anyway. Like we'll find little notebook papers just laying around the house, and it'll have like 5 animal facts on it, just random facts about different animals that she's learned, and she'll write them down. And then we just find little papers like that she
Yes.
has written. So she's kind of doing that, just not in a structured way.
Right. No, that's perfect. And what I say is just have her keep track of it all and make it into a notebook, like a scrapbook.
Okay.
It would be like a scrapbook, really.
Okay.
Yeah. And so just say, hey, Lily, every time you learn about a fun fact on anything, I want you to write it here. Maybe you give her like special paper where she can write it on it, um,
Uh-huh.
and then put it together. And then eventually, when if you once you get 20 pages, we'll put it together and I'll help you. Or maybe get one of those scrapbooking projects. You can get them at Michael's and use your coupon. A 40% off coupon, but even just go to the dollar store and come up with your own. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. In fact, I wouldn't go fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so just have her. It's really about her learning not only to research, which she's doing because she's learning all those facts and then putting together, but she's also learning how to collect them, to gather them. That's all part of learning how to think. Yeah, so she's learning skills on how to critically think and put things together, research. So yeah, that's awesome. I think unit studies would be great for your kids. Um,
Okay.
and unit study basically, Sarah, is they just incorporate all the subjects into whatever they want to study.
Okay.
Do you want to take an example, for instance, like that way?
Yeah. I'm trying to, so it's called a what now? A unit
Unit
study?
study? Yeah. So let's say, let's take Chloe. Okay. You tell me a subject that she really is passionate about.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Something that Chloe is passionate about.
Mhm.
Maybe, she really just is kind of one of those kids that likes a little bit of everything, so nothing is jumping out at me right now that
Okay.
she likes acting and drama.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
she likes writing. I mean, it
She
sounds
does
like,
like writing. She likes reading and writing and
okay.
yes.
Is there an author that or has she not found that yet?
Not a particular author, no.
Okay, so she hasn't. Does she like to read a series of books
Um,
or not?
yes, she does. I'm not sure what they're called. They're on her shelf, but yes, she does have a series of books.
Okay, so maybe so. Let's say her passion was reading, and so maybe she studies a particular author, and then when she studies this author, she's learning history basically of this author. Maybe the author is someone, and I would pick someone fairly popular, famous. Maybe this author has really been big on poetry, and so then you introduce to Chloe, hey, poetry. This author, she was a poet, and these are some of her works. And then you can get, oh my gosh, you could just go crazy over poetry because poetry is actually, they have shown studies that it just opens the mind in a way that, I mean, you would never think, rhyming words could do so much with the mind, but they do. But then anyway, you can incorporate that, the types of writing, the types of different writing that authors have. And would she ever want to write a book? If she did, what would it be about? Um, and then you can incorporate math by simply, you know, um, you could talk about, what are the spaces like when, maybe she goes into writing software. How many words per chapter? You can incorporate. Table of contents and indentation. I mean, you can incorporate mathematics in that subject, um, and then you just kind of go from there, and then you write about it. Maybe she writes about a book. Maybe she writes about the author. Um, she writes an essay. Maybe she does a writing.
Like farming. If she talks about that too, how she would like to have a farm someday.
Oh wow.
Um, I'm telling you, she has just like a bunch of interests that don't have a lot to do with each other. Kind of all over the place, this kid.
That's
But she
awesome.
does talk about like having goats and chickens and stuff like that too.
Oh wow.
She do a project with like a like with that, you think?
Absolutely. And if that is what, if her books kind of are centered around maybe like a Little House on the Prairie where it is kind of that
Yeah.
chickens and goats, um, then, I would ask her why. It sounds like that might be a favorite place to go for her, like a farm maybe. And
Yeah.
then I would do maybe a field trip to a dairy farm or a farm, make that kind of like a reward. Like if
Okay.
she finishes the project, we're going to head over to this farm, and sometimes they're far away, and we'll milk a cow, or we'll feed the chickens, or we'll buy some fresh eggs, and
Okay.
maybe you find that out. Like I'm sure in that your area, there's got to be some great farm field trips that you guys can go to, and it could even be like an ostrich farm or a goat farm. I mean,
Yeah.
that would be that would make it more fun for Chloe.
Yeah, she would like that.
Yeah, that would be, and then she could write. about it. She could journal it. Um,
Uh-huh.
make her, you know what? I would encourage her to be the historian of your family as you homeschool. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, that would be really cool. Like just say, maybe it's something she does on the side. Say, Chloe, would you ever, since you're journaling, do you think you could just journal about what we do every day?
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can take a look at it for errors or grammatical errors during the week. That could be her English and writing. It's just writing on your journal. But you would read it knowing, okay,
Right.
yeah, we need to work on our punctuation or, um,
Correct. Yeah.
yeah, it's just pretty simple. Um, yeah, so that'll give you some good ideas. I think creating a long-term project for both your girls sounds like that might be fun for them. I'd like to see what you come up with.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, and you know what? It's really them telling you. So
Yeah.
once you start that, they'll tell you. So then all you have to do is create, make it fun, and put it all together. But they'll give you like pieces of the jigsaw puzzle.
Right.
Yeah. Um, the reading in the Bible, and usually, you know, this is one that is personal and the families decide. But if there's a book in the Bible that maybe you can incorporate with Chloe's love for animals, or um, it might be interesting, like, why a lamb? Why was that the sacrifice? Or um, it could be, oh gosh, you look at a verse that talks about the dove representing the Holy Spirit. Why a dove? Let's find out all the things about a dove. Actually, that might be something Lily likes too. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but maybe incorporating some Bible into their unit study. You could do it that way. It could be very simple. Um,
Mhm.
like when God says that He can hold the sands um, of the seashore, by the palm of His hand or whatever. Like maybe gosh, you can even incorporate math in there. How much sand is on a beach, or where is sand found, or how small is it? Gosh, you can just go on and on. Do they use sand for pharmaceutical? I don't know, but you can
Yeah.
go all out to, yeah, and then it covers your science. And here you're talking about sand on the beach, um, and now you've included science in that, so that might be, yeah, just some ideas there. Um, And when they're reading, when Chloe and Lily are reading, here's just a couple, some three basic questions that you can always ask them. It just helps with their thinking skills, especially as much as Chloe reads.
Uh-huh.
She probably reads so much. So just running this through, like even if you're in the car, hey, Chloe, that book you just read, what was it? What was the story about? Who were the characters? Which character did you like the most? Why?
Yeah.
I mean, just yeah, that would be great discussion, and it supports what Chloe loves to do, which is read. So
Right.
yeah, maybe pop one of those questions out to her every once in a while. Then lunch, same with breakfast, Sarah. You can make that a whole lesson right there. Um,
Uh-huh.
yeah, once a month they make you lunch,
Yeah.
and then you just sit there and you watch them and help where they prepare the meal, set the table, put away the dishes. But again, what you're also teaching is, okay, that they do this when they grow up so they could be great wives and mothers. It's kind of like home ec, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, so notice how everything counts, like
Yeah.
everything, every single thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not just when you open the book. Yeah. Um, and I had here some of, okay, so cook using recipes based on Chloe and Lily's. Find them and let them choose. This might be fun too. Like when they choose a recipe, you could ask Chloe, hey, how many of all these ingredients, how many do you find out in the farm? What animals? I mean, you could, really break
Yeah.
that apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then activities, have them choose maybe some art. I know, well, both of them I think are into art and playing board games. Maybe something they do together is playing board games. Sometimes
Okay.
I think I wish I had done that more, is had my kids work together more rather than individually. Yeah, so they just learn how to interact and get along, really. It's just get along. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so maybe a board game might work. And then if Daniel comes home from school, that might be a good time to bring in that board game. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
and then that's something they can do, the three of them, since they've been apart. Yeah, you might want to just pose it to them, like, "Hey, you guys, why don't you guys play this board game?" Or
okay.
um, and then here, well, here's the journal notebook that you had talked about, so that's perfect. And again, make Chloe the historian and give her that title, like make it a big deal, like Chloe's
Yeah.
the
That's a
historian.
good idea.
Yeah, like this is a great, she's going to write down everything we do and then keep a record of it. And that is what a historian does. And maybe we learn what a historian, like Google it and
Uh,
then share with Chloe. This is what a historian does. And historians get, that you can make a career out of that. um,
yeah.
yeah, that might be fun. And then when you pick up Daniel, maybe this is, well, since it's so close to you, but this is the time to ask him a lot of questions about school. Like just whenever you pick him up, that might be a real time where you just purposely, Sarah, think, okay, this is me trying to get to know Daniel's day, his friends, because I know that was a concern, the crowd he has and who he's following, and so this might be a really good time for you to just listen and listen in, and you'll find that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. um, it's usually fresh, like on his mind too. He'll probably want to talk right after school, or then again he might be tired, but that might be a time of probing, I guess. um,
Right.
yeah, and just make that a habit, like every time you pick him up you're just going to say to yourself, okay, I'm going to ask Daniel what he did today, and yeah, and so um, awesome. Those are some of the ideas I have, and let me quickly. Oh my gosh, our time. Okay, so here's some activities. If you and Corey, your husband, and the three kids sit down and Sarah, you would be kind of like the interviewer. You're asking them, hey, you guys, what are some things that we all like to do? And they'll start with Chloe, and they can just share. And then so that you can ask them maybe, what is some things you like to do? And then you can ask them later, what are some of the things we can all do as a family that you like to do as
Yeah,
a family?
that's a good idea.
Yeah, I would write those down, Sarah, here, to start writing it down as you're hearing them. And
Uh-huh.
these are activities that you can incorporate into your lesson plans. Oh my gosh, that you can plan for. And now it's based on what they like. you know
Right.
so it makes it easy, and so it's just your job to kind of find out what events are going on, or sports events, or museums. And there's a lot of freebies here. Museums have like free admission days.
Yeah.
Libraries always free. Science centers, they also have usually a free admission day. This does not have to be costly or expensive.
I
um,
was thinking like the courthouse too. Like
yeah,
maybe take them to the. I was reading something online about the courthouse giving tours or something.
yes, that's a great idea, and incorporate that in your history. You know,
Yeah.
and maybe even, not that this, but you know how sometimes you see the commercials of Judge Judy, or I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could even incorporate like or any movies that have to do with courtroom or judges, or maybe you want to talk about laws, how laws are established, or just even the process of how does a bill become a law, and then use that Schoolhouse Rock. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many. If you guys have a rock museum, oh, I bet Chloe would love that. Or no, Lily.
Lil-
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know we have one. It's all rocks and minerals and gems, but
Oh, yeah, that's neat.
yeah, I'm sure, the Dallas area has one that, um, again, you can incorporate that activity with Lily's unit study, whatever, when you do the lesson plans for that. That might be like again, a reward. Um, or even theater or comedy or any events that have a link to whatever they are doing or learning. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so, oh, some things that, real quick, Daniel's issues. Okay. So an idea is you and Corey spend one-on-one time so he doesn't feel left out. But you know what? It sounds like he's doing fine with school. So I
Yeah.
thought maybe this was, yeah, that he did feel left out. But maybe just you and Corey spending time with, because I know that was a concern of, who he's hanging around with. And that way you just stay in
Right.
touch and in tune with him.
Right.
Yeah. That drive time to asking him a lot of questions and hearing his heart. Um, Teach the kids how they can love on Daniel when he comes home. Again, I was just assuming at that time that maybe he feels left out, but they can still do that, and they can
Yeah. Yeah.
game together, eat a snack together. It just kind of brings them together. Yeah, and it could be very small, like when he comes home. Maybe you say, "Hey, Chloe, why don't you put these cookies out and you guys sit here and have some cookies together or something." Yeah.
Yeah.
And then really just creating these memorable moments together, and you don't have to spend money to do it. So, and you could read this on your own, but that's why this activity sheet is going to really help you, I think. Um, so once you have these all written down, then you can always refer to it throughout the year. Yeah. So just creating moments. That's what the kids remember. They remember the fun moments. I never did enough of that, and I wish I would have. I was so serious, thinking they were going to miss out on something, and so
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I wish I would have worried less and just had more fun. And so,
Huh. Okay. Well,
yeah,
that's good advice for sure. I'm,
I
I'm I'm kind of thinking that too. Like, what are they missing out on? What do I need to make sure? I don't want them to be shortchanged.
I
So,
know. Exactly. I think we're going to be thinking that to the very day they graduate. Uh,
yeah,
it's just human nature. But I'm glad we're thinking that, because that kind of keeps us accountable, right? I mean, it's better than,
that's true.
yeah, that is our accountability. Kind of keeps us on track. So, yeah. Any questions, Sarah? Or
No, I think this is a really neat. I'm looking at it as you're scrolling through. That's just, I like that. That's so. Is that going to be emailed to me or?
yes, I will
Okay.
email both of them to you, as well as the other, yeah, the goals, and then that gives you an idea, and then you can change it, of course, however, but at least it gives you something to work with. And
Yeah.
did this, what were you surprised about, I guess, Sarah, like as I was going through your,
Um, maybe the detail that you had in the morning routine and
hmm,
how that all is counting. Like, I just kind of view the morning part as just something to get through. Like, okay, get everybody dressed, teeth brushed, hair, I don't really count that as
Yes.
learning, as
Right.
teaching. I'm not thinking of it as teaching, I'm thinking of it as a chore, I guess.
Yes.
So I liked that. I like the way you have that in there as part of the schedule so that we can, I don't know, it kind of takes some of the stress off in that way because it's
Yeah.
just part of it too. I don't know.
Exactly.
That helped me.
Mhm. Exactly. 'Cause we don't count it. We just brush it off, you know?
Right.
Um, yeah. And if you break it down, you realize the why behind it, like the why, and then you go, oh, yeah, well, no, that is important, Um, yeah. So it's knowing the why behind what we do.
Yeah.
And great. Um, anything else? Anything else that jumped out at you or?
Um, I'm trying to think.
Okay.
Nothing that really jumped out. I thought it was a lot of good stuff, though. I like the idea of the long-term projects. I hadn't really thought of those either.
Hmm.
I like the idea of Chloe maybe writing a book and then telling her, Googling with the help of Google, trying
Yes.
to teach us how to, where I can Google how to teach children to write their own little novel and then letting her turning it into a video. I think she'd really like that.
Yes.
And
Uh,
that would be a long-term thing, and that's something that she could work on throughout the semester and school
yeah.
year.
And wouldn't it be fun, Sarah, like if she would just go to your mom, Mom, can I work on this project? And you're like, of course, where
Yeah,
you're not always feeling like they need you,
right.
and be independent and do learning on their own. And that's eventually what we're working toward. So awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Um, Great, Sarah. Yeah, I hope I gave you some good ideas and can go from there. And again, you can ask, if you ever want a coaching session, just make an appointment. And if you get into a stumbling block or maybe you want to refine something, definitely.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate thanks for being patient with me on when I was trying to log on. I know it took me a while
Oh,
to get
that's
it figured out. So,
no problem. Thank you so much, Sarah. And then we will see you on Friday, and I'll have the t-shirts for you. I'm wondering, I don't know if you guys are small or medium. I think you look like a small, but I'll just bring the medium just to.
I am like 5'7" and 127 pounds.
Okay.
So,
Well,
I don't know.
you look tiny on the screen. So I'm going to give you a medium. Um,
Okay.
Yeah, just because I'm a medium and I'm pretty petite, these smalls became really small. Like, oh my gosh, you can fit into that. But anyway, maybe I'll just bring them both. Awesome.
Okay.
And Sarah, can I ask you a favor? I know we're getting down to the wire here. Would
Yeah.
you mind, and I asked the other girls to do this, and that is to give me just a video testimonial. It would be just on like your iPhone, if
Okay.
you can even do it yourself, a selfie, or husband or even one of your children. That would be great. Whatever format, just send it over to me, and that would be. Um, I think
Okay.
you could send it directly from your phone, uh,
Okay.
email it to me.
What topics do you want me to hit in the testimonial?
Sure, sure. Thanks for asking. Anything where so the testimonial is basically what you learned from me, what you thought of just these sessions, and I know we crammed it all because normally it's over a longer period, but just what you learned and how you felt about it, and if you would recommend it to anyone.
Okay.
Yeah, and so just a natural. Just a very natural and organic.
How long should it be? How long should the video be?
Yeah, you know what? As long as you want it brief. The
Okay.
shorter the better. And then don't worry about editing. I'll edit it all out. So if you say, "Oh, I forgot," that's okay. And
Okay.
we'll do the editing on our end. And yeah, that would be
Oh,
great. Uh,
very cool. Would it be okay if like if I cannot figure out how to I'm just not very technical. If I went to Melissa's house, if I was in the same background that she is in, is that
oh,
okay?
sure.
Or
Absolutely.
okay.
Yeah, no, that would be great. Yeah,
Awesome.
she's pretty technical. She doesn't say she is, but I know she is.
I know they have a pretty neat setup there. So yeah, that'd
Oh,
be
do
neat.
they? Oh, cool.
So I their little computer room with all their homeschool books and everything. It's really neat.
Oh, neat. That
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me. She's really good in decorating. So,
Yes.
yeah, she knows
So,
how to create those spaces. Um, awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah, and then we'll see you soon.
look forward to meeting you
Yeah,
in person. Thank you so much.
thank you, Sarah. Bye-bye.
Bye.